start off. I want us to start off and just take off the show as we were supposed to do. We take it off as where we are and what we're doing right now.
Okay.
So what we'll do is that we'll introduce ourselves and just a 2-minute thing, just say hi, who you are. I'm Brenda. I support sales and marketing for Savannah Geoplumbers. And yes, and what are my expectations? I want to learn more about water safety, because that's a big thing in our lives right now. Yeah. So, can we? I'll pick somebody. Unfortunately, I'll just pick people at random. Anyone who wants to introduce themselves? Edith?
Hi, good evening. My name
Good
is
evening, Steve. Yes.
Yes, my name is Steve. I'm Steve Ernest there, Steve Moreidi. I'm an
Yes.
expert in the insurance industry and money market funds. That's unit trust. I'm here
Yes.
to learn more on matters of water. I'm a bit concerned on the water we consume here. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Anybody else? I can see I have Hilda. I have Edith, I have Hilda. Maybe you can just introduce yourselves, tell us what you do and what are your expectations for the evening. Because like Steve has said, he's concerned about the water he's consuming. Okay, Edith has said, sorry, I have no sound, but I'm trying to work on it. Okay, thank you, Edith. When you can just type it on the chat. Hilda? I have Lillian here. I have people who have phones like Galaxy, Oppo, RPL. What are your fears? What is it you want to learn from us? Because it's good when you know, and we have somebody here, a professional, who's going to tell us what to do about our water.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Karen.
Yes. Hi, Karen.
Hi, I'm a civil engineer by profession.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to learn more about the quality of water. Of course, we use in Nairobi specifically.
Yes.
And also, currently, I'm already going through some of the effects of the bad quality of water. I have kids who have brown teeth. And maybe as we discuss, it will also be good to touch on maybe how to address such cases. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, that is a real challenge. When your children, I mean, being young and having fluorosis is a challenge. And thank you for coming, because then we can share with you how we can be able to rectify the problem and to be able to live with it, yeah? Because we can't move out of Nairobi to get to where there's no water with high fluoride content, but let's see, what can we do? And we know our children, when they reach I mean, it does affect their self-esteem, it affects, there's a lot of effects on them. Thank you, Karen. Anybody else?
Maybe they can put it on the chat, Brenda.
Yes.
Some people are shy, and I believe we have wonderful voices here, but maybe they can just chat and say their expectation.
Thank
The
you, engineer.
challenge,
Yes.
yeah, the challenges they may be experiencing with water, so that we are able to address the concerns. Thank you.
Thank you, engineer. Thank you so much for that insight. Yes, we will. Please feel free, put it in the chat so that we can be able to address the issues that are happening. Some of these things don't directly affect you in terms of health, but when it is a wellness, as Karen said, her children have this the burning of the teeth, and we know that is it can become a mental health issue. So please put it on the chat and let's see how we move ahead. Yeah. So right now, as we know, Nairobi, unfortunately, we live in a place where we are supposed to be provided for with water, clean drinking, hygienic water. But this is not the case that is happening right now, and we know that. So we need to be able to see how can we be able to give ourselves and our families clean, safe water to drink, clean, safe water to wash our hands, clean, safe water to wash our vegetables. Because these are things that we know that, I mean, we need that. It is where when we talk about waterborne diseases, we talk about waterborne diseases, where we are talking about things like typhoid, we're talking things about cholera. We're talking about things like fluorosis. Fluorosis is a long-term thing that you don't see now. It doesn't really affect you physically right now. You can run, you can jump, you can run, you can do whatever you need to do. But later on in life, as your teeth can start getting colored, then we know there is a problem, you know. So what are the issues that how can we be able to get clean, safe drinking water? Because we know that doesn't happen right now. We don't have enough water. We don't have the county council is not providing us with enough water to provide us with enough water, provide us with water so that we are safe and we are hygienic. And yet water is a basic commodity. It's basic in terms of we need it for life, we need it for our health, we need it for in cooking. Water is just something that we need every day. So how can we ensure and make sure that we get clean, safe, and hygienic water? So today, that is the conversation that we're going to have. And yes, that's mainly what we're going to talk about. Safe, hygienic, clean water. How do we access it? How can we access it? Because we need it, but we don't have it. So how can we be able to access it? So what I'm going to do is just invite Engineer Muthui, who's a renowned water engineer, who's going to be able to tell us and take us through how we can be able to access clean drinking water. So, Engineer Muthui, karibu sana on stage. We are happy to have you here. And I like the fact that you're coming from a professional. And, you know, even if you Google him up, you'll find him wherever you are. So, Engineer, karibu sana.
Okay, thank you very much, Brenda. Thank you for that intro. I must make a disclaimer here. The write-up when on the flyer, somebody reading that flyer may think that we are condemning borehole water. We have no intentions of condemning borehole water because we need it. Like Breda rightly said, we need water every day. We can't have life without water. And the municipality is not supplying enough water. In fact, I believe, I don't have the statistics, but I believe we get more borehole water in Nairobi than the municipal water from Nairobi Water Company. Most locations are under rationing and hardly get 2 days. So you can imagine what happens on the other days of the week. You'll be using borehole water. So that is the disclaimer. The intention of this conversation is not to condemn borehole water. It's just to inform the attendees, to inform you that there are risks related to the use of borehole water, particularly in Nairobi. I can see we have somebody sharing the slides. Brenda, can we move to the next slide then? Okay, I have a few questions for you here. And if you have an answer to any one of these, please feel free to put it on the chat. If you have a question, just note it somewhere. We shall have a Q&A towards the end of this webinar. So, question number 1, borehole water is not safe for drinking, especially for children. Of course, again, I must correct this. It's not all borehole water. Here we are talking about boreholes in Nairobi and some parts of the Rift Valley. But here we are focusing mainly in Nairobi because the audience are residents of the city, great city in the sun, Nairobi city. So there could be some boreholes which have high quality water, but they are more the exception than the rule. A study has been done in point number 2, that the presence of excessive fluoride in drinking water, according to WHO, studying for an acronym for World Health Organization, has recommended that drinking water should have a maximum of 1.5 milligrams of fluoride per liter. Unfortunately, in Nairobi, most boreholes have 15 milligrams per liter and above. So you can imagine that we are over 10 times what is recommended by the World Health Organization. And that's where our trouble begins. Why? If you are consuming water, which is above 1.5 milligrams per liter concentration of fluoride, there are several risks with that water. One of which is dental fluorosis. And what is dental fluorosis? This is discoloration and pitting of teeth. And we have had one of attendees, engineer Karen, that even her children have that challenge. The most common 2 challenges of excessive fluoride in water are dental fluorosis and skeletal fluorosis. Dental fluorosis is the discoloration of and the pitting of the teeth. You can see teeth turning brown or sometimes even black. And the skeletal fluorosis, you experience joint pains and stiffness because of excessive fluoride in water. So, and did you know that dental fluorosis will negatively impact your children's self-esteem? That is another serious issue. Why? When your child is with their peers and they smile and the other peers look at the teeth, they think they did not brush. And they start mocking them. You know, children, innocently, they will start giving them names. And that has serious self-esteem impact for the child, besides the fact that the teeth are discolored and they have pitting. Pitting is actually some holes, yeah? Pits. They are tiny little pits. So it will be discolored, it will be having those pits, and the children peers will mock them, thinking that they do not brush, when everybody is expected to brush to have good oral hygiene. Now, let's go to point number 5. Did you know that replacement of one tooth due to dental fluorosis will cost you over 50K Kenya shillings? You can check with your dentist. This is not a joke. In fact, some will charge you as much as 100K. So you can see now where we're going. There is the issue of the physical appearance. There is the issue of the self-esteem. And if you want to correct that, a dentist will give you a solution for fluorosis, but it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. It's over 50,000 for one tooth. And you can imagine when you smile, about 8 teeth in the front and they appear. So you can do that math. If you multiply 8 by 50K, you can see really what we are talking about here, which is not a joke. And that will not remove the skeletal fluorosis. And therefore, this is a big deal to any parent anywhere. And point number 6, did you know that when you use bottled water, when you use bottled water, that is, if you buy the purified water in the supermarket or wherever you get your supply, you normally use it purely for drinking. That is my experience. You don't use it for cooking. You don't use it for washing your fruits and vegetables. You actually use untreated water from the tap to cook and to wash your fruits and vegetables. And the question is, how much impact is the bottled water to your health? When you're only using a small fraction, how much water do you drink for a day? How much water do you use for cooking? How much water do you use for washing your fruits and vegetables? And those are the areas where you get the health impact of excessive fluoride in water in Nairobi. Can we move to the next slide, please? Let's go to the next slide. Okay. There are a number of water treatment methods you can use. And in fact, the reason why the municipal water in Nairobi has the recommended fluoride content is because it has already been pre-treated before it is supplied. And therefore, the answer to removing the excessive fluoride in your water is to subject it to some form of treatment which is able to remove the excessive fluoride and other harmful content like bacteria, that cause cholera and typhoid and dysentery and many other minerals that you find in water, and also viruses that you find in water. So we recommend a mini RO for homes. what is RO standing for? It stands for reverse osmosis. The mini RO has a special semi-permeable membrane called reverse osmosis membrane, RO membrane. And why we recommend this is because it's effective and it is convenient in modern homes, hotels and restaurants, call centers, dental clinics, just to name but a few. Now, the image on your screen, on your right of your screen, is that of a mini RO. We normally place it under the sink so that it doesn't occupy the space you use for putting your kitchenware and for preparation of your food, whether you are preparing your vegetables or whatever you are cooking. You need the sink top, the countertop on your sink to do that work, to prepare your food before placing it in the oven. And therefore, we don't want to take too much of that space. And therefore, we put it under the sink where there is a lot of space. And what you do is you will have a tap. This tap here at the far right hand, you can see this is the mixer tap in the middle, but you have another tap at the far right hand side of the sink. This is the one that you get the water from the RO in and you draw it off at that faucet or sink tap. Okay? And we recommend this for homes. We recommend it for hotels. We recommend it for restaurants. You can imagine in a hotel or a restaurant, what kind of water do they use to cook their tea, to cook their coffee, to make their fresh fruit juices and smoothies? If it is not purified water, then you know what they are feeding you with. In a dental clinic, those of us who have been to see a dentist, you know how they clean our teeth and that special dentist chair, and the way they spray water in your mouth so that they can remove the stains of blood and whatever else they are doing when they are cleaning your teeth there. Can you imagine if they are not using purified water, and sometimes you swallow that water unwillingly and you end up consuming low quality water or unhealthy water. You have gone to the dentist for health issues. You come out with health problems. We don't want that to happen. So we recommend the RO, the mini RO. RO standing for reverse osmosis. It is able to remove all the impurities, including fluoride, chlorine, and it also has a UV light that kills bacteria. So you remove all the harmful salts and minerals, and you also kill any bacteria that may be found in your water so that you are able to feed yourself and your family, save drinking water, save cooking water, save water to wash your fruits and vegetables, and when you blend your juices for your family at home, or you make some smoothies, whatever you want to do there, you are sure and certain that what you are providing your family is safe for them. Which parent doesn't want to keep their family healthy? The cost of medication and hospitalization is so high, you cannot take a chance and leave your family at the mercy of bad sources of water. Can we move to the next slide, please? Let's go to the next slide, please. I hope the meeting, those in the webinar are taking notes. I hope they are posting questions on the chat. I'm not able to follow what is happening at the chat. So kindly put your questions there. If you hear me say something that you didn't know, feel free to put an aha moment there and a thumbs up or a yes on the chat. So some of the benefits of using a mini RO, some of the benefits of using a mini RO. Okay, so where did my sharing go? Screen sharing, please. Okay, yeah, thank you. So using a mini RO system saves, this is some statistics that have been worked out, 40,000 annually. If you compared with buying the bottled water, you save 40,000 shillings every year. And it will provide ample purified water for cooking, cleaning. Here, cleaning, we are talking about cleaning your food, fruits and vegetables, and for cooking. So it will guarantee water quality for your quality water for your family use. It promotes environmental sustainability, and this is because you are not using plastic per se. You see, when you are using bottled water, every now and then you have to discard the plastics, and you know the impact of plastic into the environment. And it also enhances restaurants' efficiency and reputation. If you know that a restaurant is using purified water, you choose to eat there, you choose to enjoy your refreshment, your drink, your juice, your smoothie there, knowing that you are safe, 100% safe. So you save money, okay, let me see. So you save money, the 40,000 shillings every year, as compared to the bottled water. You have access to purified water for cooking, drinking, and washing your food, fruits and vegetables, guaranteed quality. You may wonder what that means. There have been reports that some of the bottled water is not as safe as you think, unfortunately. But I know there are companies who make quality bottled water, so that does not apply across the board. It's not a blanket statement there, but there are a few questionable sources of bottled water. You protect your environment because you don't put plastic in the environment, and it is operationally efficient in restaurant and hotel spaces. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, I've seen a question on the chat. Somebody has asked how often you change filters. You don't change filters, you change filter cartridges. Okay, why am I making that correction? There is a housing which houses the cartridge. You don't change the housing, you only change the cartridge. How often do you change? It actually depends on the quality of your water. You can imagine if you have very dirty water at the start, you know, the cartridge or the filter will be stopping that, all that dirt going through to the tap. And that may necessitate very frequent changes. Of course, we have ways to manage that. Yeah. Because we are experts in that space. You have ways to manage that. If you have exceptionally turbid water and you are having very many filter cartridge changes, there is something we can do to manage that. But if you have normal water, which is not too turbid, it will take you about 6 months, sometimes a year, between filter cartridge changes. So the key word here is the quality, the starting point, the quality of your water. If it is on average, an average quality, then between 6 months and 12 months, once every 6, once every 12 months. And it also depends on how much water you are filtering. Okay, we have filters that do 200 liters per day, and we have others that do 400 liters a day. The question is, how much water are you using? Because you only use the RO upon need. When you open the tap, that's when it's working, and it will filter the water you need. Is it one glass? Is it one mug? Is it one jug? Is it one kettle? That is what it will filter. Now, depending on the volume of water you are filtering every day, that will also determine the frequency of changing the filter cartridges. I hope I have responded to that question. Any other question? Somebody here is asking, so what's next? Now you know. What have we learned? One, most of the water we use in Nairobi is from boreholes. And that's okay, because without the boreholes, we will not have enough water. Yes.
Engineer, someone has asked, does this is Steve, Steve is asked, does the mini RO have the provision for hot water from solar?
Say that, okay, sorry, I didn't get that question clearly.
Does the mini RO have provision for hot water from solar? I think what he's asking is, can the mini RO work on solar? Steve,
well,
if
okay.
you're still there.
Let me try to answer that question. Although I wish he could have put it on the chart, because it's a little bit tricky. I'm not sure what he's asking, because you see,
it's on the chart.
The mini RO, Brenda and Steve, the mini RO is focused on creating water for you in the house that is safe for drinking, for cooking, and for washing your foods. That is your fruits and vegetables. That is the aim of the mini RO. Okay? If you want to treat all the water in your house, then that is no longer mini. Okay? That's a different dimension, and I didn't want us to go that way. There is what we call commercial RO, and this particular webinar is not for commercial ROs. There is a webinar for that. Now we are focusing strictly for providing the family at home with safe drinking water, cooking water, and water for washing their fruits and vegetables. So, Steve, if necessary, we can have another call separate from this, when we can discuss other options of handling maybe the water for your entire house, so that even the bathing water, the laundry water, is subject to treatment. And I want you to note here that water has so many other issues that we are not discussing today. Our main focus here is removing excessive fluoride. Why? It has been established by a research that over 40% of children visiting dentists in Nairobi, they are victims of fluorosis, dental fluorosis. That is what you can see because their teeth are stained and they have pitting. You don't see skeletal fluorosis, which happens simultaneously. As long as you have excess fluoride in the water, you have both dental fluorosis and skeletal fluorosis. And that is our focus for the day. If you need us to address other challenges in water that will impact your life, I would suggest you put the questions on the chat so that we can create a webinar to address those other challenges that we have in water. I don't know whether that has responded to Steve and anybody else who may have had the same thing in their minds.
Engineer, I'm not seeing anything on the chat, so I think Steve, if you're there, please let us know if that you've been answered.
I'm here. I had two questions I had put in the chat. One was that can this water from mineral, is it safe to drink directly without boiling or something like that? Can we just
Steve? Yeah,
100%,
Steve. It is the purest possible water you can have in your house with 100% certainty for drinking, for cooking, and for washing your fruits and vegetables.
That's okay. The question on the solar water is that where you have a hot water system connected but to the sink. So I think we just need to do an outlet for only cold water for the mineral. The other may be concerned that which is there. Yes, at home we may be willing to do that because I have one of my kids has the same problem and I don't want the others to have the same problem of the teeth. I think the biggest challenge we have is that even the schools they go to, these schools, the water they use there, I think that's a concern. One has to take it to the next level to be checked. And finally, where can one come maybe to have their water examined or tested for all these kind of impurities and chlorine?
Okay, I have heard you and you are loud and clear, Steve. Thank you for the questions. Now, regarding the school, that's another level. And you know now the school here, we are talking about a huge population of young children and even adults. It's a concentrated center that has been voiced by a number of people. The way I would handle it as a parent is to make sure my children have enough water for their use, even when they are in school. I know that's not very easy to manage, but you know, that's the best we can do in our current situation, Steve, unfortunately. You just make sure your children have enough water when they go to school so that they don't have to drink any other water when they are there. Just like maybe you provide them with food. Well, I hope, because I know some schools provide lunch and you don't know the quality of water the schools are using. And by the way, it is possible for the school to invest on purifying the water they are using there. But I didn't want us to go that way, okay? Now, the other issue regarding, obviously, the solar water heater, we don't treat the solar water heater through the mineral because hot water has its own issues, yeah? If you are dealing with hard water, and that is what most borehole water is, hard water. It has high concentration of carbonates, of salts, both chlorides and carbonates and others. It has problem when you heat it, they precipitate, and they have this challenge of scaling, and they can even clog the filters because of scaling. They will also clog the pipes. Hot water, you've got to be careful, again, what kind of hot water you have. If it is hard water, it has special issues, needs to be treated in a specific way. You don't treat it like any other water, right? I don't know whether, I thought I had another question there, Steve. Have I left out something? Hello, Steve? Have I responded to
The
all
question
your
was laboratories for testing the waters
okay.
in our
Yeah,
homes,
we do.
in our borehole.
We have laboratories. You reach out to Newton or Brendam. They will give you some laboratories in Nairobi which are reputable, recommended by Kenya Bureau of Standards, and you'll be able to get your water tested, and you get a chemical and biological analysis report. Yeah,
Yeah, Steve,
you get both
just to
chemical and
let you know,
biological analysis. Yeah.
yeah, just to let you know, I'll reach out to you. I'll give you the contacts of the labs within Nairobi, the creditable, creditable labs that we use, and so that you can be able to even test your water. Yes, will do that. I'll do that.
Once you have the test report, Steve, you can share it with Brenda. Now we are in a very good position to advise you on the mode of treatment, the method of treatment you need for your specific need, for your specific use, for your home, and any other application you may need to use the water. Thank you for the question, Steve.
Welcome. Thank you.
Any other queries, please? So the lady
I've not seen any other, but in just prompt anybody else. Karen, maybe you I know you had an issue. Any issues, somebody?
Yeah, Karen had her children are also affected by excessive fluoride in the water. It's very unfortunate. Of course, some people don't react the same way. That's why the statistics are talking about 40%. That figure could be much higher, but some people can have a higher resistance to what is seen, like the browning of the teeth. I have seen families where children drinking the same water, some have brown teeth, others don't have. And it's just now, that's a makeup, the DNA makeup of the person. You can't do much about it. But there are those who are vulnerable, and we protect the vulnerable. However, we would recommend anybody with a child with that situation to see a dentist for how to manage that. But as for the water, the cause is high fluoride in your water. That one, we are saying, please reach out. We shall advise on how you can get a mini RO for your house. And then once you have the water, you'll be the wisest person to know how to use it and how your children, to protect your children and other members of your family.
Engineer, there's a question from Edith Mbigi. What is the difference between borehole water and city council water? Does the city council water cause the same damage as borehole water? Basically, if you say Nairobi water and borehole water, you know, the guys who sell it in the trucks, what's the difference? Do they have the same effects on us?
Okay, let me put it like this, Brenda. I think there are a few areas where even Nairobi water source is borehole. I'm not 100% sure about that. But the difference of Nairobi water and the borehole we have in our homes, and the trucks bring borehole water. Some of these communities, apartments or gated communities, have a borehole, which is a good idea, because without the borehole, they will not have water. Is that the Nairobi Water Company puts its supply first through treatment, conventional water treatment, including removing the fluoride, excessive fluoride, and the bacteria and excessive salts that cause killing in pipes and in heaters and in boilers. They do all that. But the borehole in your estate, many places, I know a few places, many places don't treat that water. And that water is good to use because it's better than no water at all. But when it has excessive fluoride, which you can tell by testing, then if you are a young parent, a young mother, a young father, please take note. It will impact your children, and you are well advised to invest on a mini RO. It will go a long way. It will go a long way. And by the way, once your children hit 7, many times those manifestations of fluorosis, either dental or skeletal, will not manifest. But age 0 to age 7 is a critical age for children. And I believe they go through a lot of motions, health motions. But what has become very evident and very critical right now is dental and skeletal fluorosis caused by excessive fluoride in water. So get in touch with us. Grab Breda, grab Newton. You can reach us through info. The email address is there. The website address is there. And that telephone number for further details.
What Edith is asking a second question is, engineer, so is borehole water, treated water safe? Okay. Is borehole treated water safe to take? If the borehole water is treated,
if it is treated, safe to take? But then my question would be, what are you treating the borehole water for? Are you treating it to remove bacteria? Are you treating it to remove the excessive salts or fluoride or other minerals, including heavy metals like lead? So you doing a water analysis, chemical analysis, and bacteriological analysis is very critical. Then you know what you're dealing with and whether it's safe for you and your family or not. It doesn't matter whether you are taking the water from the lake, from a dam, from the river, from a borehole. All those sources are not 100% safe. You need to treat the water, but you need, first of all, to establish what you are treating. What is the composition, the chemical composition? What is the bacteriological composition of your water? Because we must use water every day, 24/7, without exception. For drinking, for cooking, for washing, for bathing, just name it. We use water all the time. But you need healthy teeth, bright-looking smiles. You need strong skeleton. The bones must be strong. You need to be healthy without bacteria. You don't ingest bacteria for cholera, for typhoid, for whatever, and other viruses that are found in water. You must remove the impurities. You must remove the bacteria. You must remove the excessive fluoride so that you are able to sleep peacefully and be in the faith that your children and your family are safe with the water they are drinking, and they must drink anyway. There is no other option. Water is the only utility. That water is universal. Water, we use water all the time. Life needs water.
Okay, engineer, we have a question here. Does boiling the water make it safe, or can you, or does boiling the waters make it safe, or can, okay. Okay.
Let me try.
I think it's what the person is asking is boiling the water, does it make it safe? So I think, engineer, what we need to we need to identify there are two forms of impurities here. There's the mineral and there's the biological.
Bacteriological. Okay. Yes, I would say it makes the water safe in bacteriological context, but it doesn't make it safe in the mineralogical context. What I mean is you can remove bacteria by heating water, but you can't remove fluoride by heating water. I don't know whether that helps that person who asked the question. So the reason why we have always said boil your water, we are focusing on the bacteria component in the water, not the mineral or the salts, not the chemistry of that water. We are talking about the bacteriological component. Yes, if you boil water, you kill the bacteria. Maybe not 100%, but you make it relatively safe, okay? But to be sure, you better put the water through ultraviolet rays, and they destroy every single bacteria that is there. That is now, and the RO, the reverse osmosis membrane, will remove all the harmful chemicals, all the harmful minerals, all the fluoride, including chlorine, which again is good for killing bacteria, but in excess, it has health challenges. And I noticed, Breda, before I forget, I think there is something wrong with the spelling of our email address. You can see that, right?
Yes, I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's missing an S at the beginning.
S,
yeah.
So yes, boiling water is good when you are camping. Why? It is a one-off. You don't camp 24/7. Okay, you camp once a weekend. If you take a little bit of fluoride once in a while, it may not really damage your skeleton. It may not damage your teeth. But if you are taking it day in, day out, 365.25 days, then it will pose health challenges. That is the whole point. Because you have made it a lifestyle to thrive in in water with high fluoride content. Okay. So I think if there are no more questions, I think we can close it there, Brenda. What do you think?
I'm not seeing any other questions, unless someone just shout it out. If you want, if there's something you need clarified, please just shout it out.
Yeah, a question.
Yes, Edith.
Yeah, please tell us how much is your machine and what does it take to install it?
Okay. Our machine is fairly affordable. In Nairobi, we are supplying it at 50K and installing it. Supply and installation at 50K. In Nairobi. Of course, if you're outside Nairobi, Edith, there are other costs arising from transport and all. But within Nairobi, 50K, you're good.
What about maintenance and how much are the filters that you have to replace?
Okay, I said you don't replace the whole filter, you only replace the cartridge in the filter housing. And I said it depends on the quality of your water. If your water quality is very bad, there is something we can do. Obviously, it would be additional cost to make sure we prolong the life of the filter cartridges. And I said on average, if you have average water quality, you only need to change the filter cartridges every 6 months. Again, depending on the volume of water you're using in your house, every 6 months to 1 year. The cost of the cartridges range between 500 to 1,200, and there are usually 3 on each arrow, mini arrow. And so, and of course, there's a component of labor for changing unless you are able to do the change yourself, which is not complicated. You can be trained how to do it. It's not difficult, where you just now get supply of the cartridges and you do the changing yourself. But if you require a technician to come over, obviously you meet the cost of the technician for changing the cartridges. Again, once or twice in a year. So if you're going to spend about 2,000, at most 3,000 shillings to change those cartridges once or twice a year, I think it is worth the benefit of protecting your family from excessive fluoride and other impurities that you find in water. Okay, good question. How do you know the cartridges need changes? Okay, what we've been doing is that we put a clear housing of one cartridge where you can see with your eyes. And you see this one, when we supply the cartridges, they are brilliant white as snow. Maybe some of us have never seen so, but you can imagine that kind of brightness, you know, like wool, yeah? That wool, cotton wool white, eh? And obviously you don't change it the moment it stains a little bit because it is filtering. Ni kama ile kichungi tu ya chai. If umeweka majani kidogo, itakuwa unachunga majani kidogo. Lakini kama majani ni nyingi, obviously it will stain faster, but you are able to tell. As I said, average quality water, 6 months, depending on the volume of water you are filtering every day. Some people go even 1 year, but you'll be able to see. Alternatively, if you don't have a clear housing, then you can always consult us. But generally, that is a general guidelines. Within 6 months, it should be checked. If it's okay, you continue. But within 1 year, you are advised to change the cartridges. On the other hand, if you are changing every month, then something is wrong. The quality of your water is just too bad to be true. And therefore, we come in, we put another filter, and we show you how to manage it. That will take most of the turbidity or the suspended particles in water, so that when it goes to the filter, it's already pre-filtered, and that gives the cartridges longer life. It's an extra cost, but again, it's worth it. Edith, are you clear with that? What's the lifespan?
We have, yeah. What's the lifespan of the mini RO? This is from Jefta.
Okay. That's a very relative question, I will tell you. Esther, is it Esther who asked that? The lifetime.
No, that's not Esther, that was Jefta. Gesaka.
Jefta. Okay, okay.
But Edith has said, thank you, happy with your response. But Jeff is asking, what is the lifespan, the mini RO?
The lifespan, I have a number of cases where they have gone even 5 or more years. But again, will advise you, you need to protect your RO purifier with the surge protector. What's a surge protector? You know, the KPLC, with all due respect, their power, the way it comes on and off so often, just like we have been cautioned now, it has become, we know a fridge in our homes, we better put a fridge guard, because those surges, power surges, damage equipment. Now, that is something somebody may have to invest, and it's a one-off. Just a fridge guard, and it will take care of the power surges that come to the mini RO. And occasional service, and when we are doing the cartridge changes, we service it. Under normal circumstances, it will have a long life. And in any case, it has a warranty for 1 year. So for 1 whole year, should anything happen with your mini RO, it will be serviced free of charge. I don't know whether I have responded to that. But it is a gadget you can have for 5+ years when it is properly installed, properly operated by you without any problems. I have quite a number we have sold, and they only change the filter cartridges occasionally. And within about 3 or 4 years, they may change the RO membrane, which is a little bit expensive, but then you don't change it every year. And it also depends on the quality of water. I mean, the starting point is very important. The quality of your water should be determined, established, and therefore we advise what the best course of the treatment that you need to get quality, safe drinking water.
Engineer Jefter has said, thanks, I'm satisfied with the answer. Engineer,
Oh,
yeah, that's what he has said.
Most welcome.
Or they have said, I'm not sure. I can't say he or she.
Another question?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm listening here with Steve. Huh?
Okay.
Now, my question is, how many liters does it produce maybe in an hour? Or do you have to be producing and maybe keeping it somewhere if it's something which is very slow and maybe you need to use like 10 liters or 20 liters at a go? Just wondering
Okay,
how.
That's a good question. Thank you very much for asking. We have 2 models. One can do 200 liters per day. Now, if you can think of that super drum, the container, yeah, 200 liters is sio kidogo sana. And we have another model that can do 400 liters per day. And because you use this water mainly for drinking and cooking and washing your fruits and vegetables, many times you don't need storage, okay? But should you need storage, particularly over the weekend when you're at home, you can turn the tap on and then continuously for an hour, maybe 2, maybe more, so that it produces sufficient water for your storage. But we don't highly recommend storing that water for too long, for the simple reason that bacteria have a way of, they're floating all over the place. I'm sure you have ever put your avocado, you cut an avocado, you put it in your fridge, and the following morning it's turned brown or black. Bacteria are all over the place. So when you store water in a tank for too long, you may be introducing bacteria in that water which you had already removed using the RO purifier. So that's why we have a tap for the RO purifier, mini RO purifier, so that you purify water for immediate use. In that way, you avoid the risks of storage, which could create an incident of contamination by bacteria. So I generally would not recommend, particularly for homes. If you're having a restaurant, the volume of water going per day is quite significant, in which case you may not have enough time, particularly during the peak hours, to have all the water purified. Therefore, you can have a small storage tank, maybe about 1,000, no, not 1,000, 100 liters to cope with the peak hours. But most probably by the end of the day, you have already used it kabisa. But keeping water for too long in a storage tank, bacteria will find their way in that water, and it will beat the purpose of purification in the first place. So I would not encourage a lot of storage unless you actually need it and you use it. You don't keep it for too long.
Hello, engineer. I think my question is what's the speed? If I go to that tap and I open, and maybe I just need some 5 liters, how long will it take for it to produce the 5 liters?
Let me be honest with you. I have not measured that, okay? All I know is if you put a glass of water there, within 30 seconds, at most 1 minute, a big glass is full, okay? I have not measured that, and I can tell you it may not be very easy to do that measurement, because as the filter cartridges filter more, the rate of water passing through them slows down because they are collecting that debris. And although there is a miniature pump that pushes the water through, the longer you keep the cartridges, the slower the speed of purification. But honestly, I have not measured that. All I know is that we have 2 brands, one with 200 liters per day, and the day is an 8-hour day, right? You're not talking about 24 hours. We are talking about an 8-hour day. And the other one of 400 liters per day, okay? But there are factors that can affect that, one of which is obviously the condition of the filter cartridges. That one is therefore variable. It's not like constant. I have not measured that, to be very honest with you. So I may not give a straight-on answer, but you can test that yourself when you have it. You take a jug and a stopwatch, a jug of 5 liters, you see how long it will take to fill. But I can tell you, don't spend the whole day waiting for the purified water there. No. You turn the tap. Of course, maji ni kidogo kuliko ile ya tap ya kawaida, depending on whether you have pressurized system in your house or you have a storage tank in the roof. It's not the same volume of water, but it is good enough for the intended purpose. For drinking, for cooking, for washing your fruits and vegetables. That is the key purpose for the mini RO, to keep your family healthy. I don't know whether that madam is satisfied with my answer. I know she expected 5 liters per second. No, I will not be very honest to tell you that, and I don't like saying things I'm not sure about.
I think she's a scientist, if you ask me, and she needs data.
That one we can measure. I can
Eh,
ask some of my existing customers just
yes,
to measure for us.
which is okay. We can do that, but yeah, it's good to be challenged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But remember, madam, this is a mini RO. If you want something with huge volumes, they are available, but they are also quite pricey. And you may not need that anyway, if you are talking about a home situation. But if you have a restaurant, if you have a big hotel, if you have a school, if you have a hospital, well, you may need a commercial RO. And they do a lot of work. They bring in a lot of volume of purified water, but you also do a significant investment to own one and use one.
Yeah, but engineer, if I may ask,
Mhm.
you may not have tested the speed, but maybe the answer we could seek is that once the water starts flowing, it flows anyway, isn't it?
As long as you have turned on the tap, yes.
The water will flow.
Yeah, it will flow continuously.
Oh, okay.
It will flow continuously. Once you open the tap, it is just like your kitchen tap. And most probably wherever you are, you have a kitchen right next, just the way you turn the tap on. You turn a similar tap for the purifier. It has a less flow, but continuous flow. So it will fill your glass, it will fill your bottle, it will do a number of things within reasonable period of time. But if you want a huge volume, that's why I said over the weekend, when you have time, Sunday afternoon, maybe after church, you can fill your big water bottles that you use with your dispenser. If you have a mini RO, one thing I tell you, you are not going to buy the water in the bottles that you buy. That is the end of bottled water for your house from the supermarket or wherever you buy. Because the mineral will supply you more than enough water you need for drinking, cooking, and washing your fruits and vegetables.
So, engineer, another question. To use it, you must have the power on. It's connected to power, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It uses electricity power. It is. You must have a power socket under the sink. And you appreciate why, because that's where we are putting the equipment. And ordinarily, we don't have power sockets there, but because we don't want to occupy, and by the way, we have versions that you can place on top of the sink. But the logic is you need that space for your food preparations, for washing your dishes and crockery. So you really don't want to put so many other things that are permanent features on top of your work table. So we put it where it's out of the way and it's giving you what you're looking for conveniently.
Okay, one more question.
You need power. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
I have seen a few friends who have this equipment, only I don't know if it's the same one you're selling, RO, or the other people marketing the same gadget in the market.
Okay.
But what I've seen is that they put two taps in the sink, one for drinking and for cooking. And then they put another tap now for the kawaida washing of dishes and, because do I need to wash my dishes with this water?
Okay, okay, let's get that clear. Your sink, when it is put in place, will have a tap, a mixer tap. Most probably you have hot water and cold water. That's why we call it a mixer tap. You can make it lukewarm, you can just draw hot, or you cannot draw cold. That is a standard fixture with your sink. When we construct a home, in the kitchen, we put a sink mixer with a sink in your kitchen, okay? That is standard. When we bring the mini RO, we put another tap that comes as a part of the mini RO on the side of your sink. And the water you draw from that is purified water. It's quite different from the water from the sink mixer, okay? So don't confuse the two. And therefore you'll be having two taps, one for purified water, which is smaller, looking smaller and maybe cuter, if you like to use that term, and the ordinary sink tap, which comes with the sink, whether you have a purifier or not.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
You get it, right?
Yes, thank you.
Welcome, Andy. Thank you for asking the question. We are at the tail end of the webinar. I don't know if there are no more questions.
One last question.
Okay.
Yeah, so let me ask, is it only connected to the sink, or can you connect it to the bathroom, to the, like maybe if you have two bathrooms and each have sinks, because of brushing and all that, is it only connected to the sink in the kitchen, or can you be able to, is there a way that it can be connected like to that same one RO? Can it function now in the whole house, whereby the laundry area has clean water, also in the washrooms because of brushing teeth, or must the kids, just come to the sink, fetch that water, maybe brush their teeth? What can you advise?
Okay. Okay, the model we are discussing this today, the model of the picture behind me on the screen is can only be used at the sink, the kitchen sink, because it is designed to provide you with drinking water, and that's where you get your drinking water from. Cooking water, that's where you do your cooking, washing fruits and vegetables. That is where it is designed. And that's why we are even talking about putting it under the sink so that it is out of the way of your other activities on top of the sink, right? If you need one for washing your teeth, you may have therefore need to have one. At a strategic, one of the wash head basins, we call the other, the China bowls you find now in the bathroom, outside the toilet and other locations in the bathroom and what have you, other than the stainless steel, which is common sink made of stainless steel. We call those others wash head basins. Wash head basins, that's the term we use in engineering. Now, you can have a arrow fixed under that gadget, but a tap fixed on top, on the wall on top of the wash head basin where you do your brushing. One arrow cannot be used in the entire house. That is the answer to your question. If you want I'm talking about mini arrow. I'm not talking about there is no one arrow that can supply your entire house. But here we are thinking in terms of economics. So we are talking about the mini arrow. You can only have one mini arrow, and it is normally in the kitchen. If you want to use the water for brushing your teeth, you can get water from the kitchen and use it in the wash head basin with a glass or some other means. But we would not recommend the issue of doing plumbing work all over the house from the mini arrow. It's not recommended. So the answer to your question is that gadget is meant for your kitchen, primarily for cooking, drinking, and washing food. That is the primary application. Of course, you can extend it in whichever way you want. In fact, you can have a small tank somewhere in your bathroom for washing your teeth and what have you. You can have several modifications of the same, but not piping to those points. You draw the water in the kitchen, you put it in a small tank where you are brushing your teeth to be on the safer side. But that gadget is meant for the kitchen with a tap in the kitchen. So if you want the purified water, you walk to the kitchen, turn the tap on, take the purified water and use it in whichever way you please, whether it's drinking, whether it's making juice or brushing your teeth, whichever way you please. I hope I have responded to your question, madam. Yeah, I hope so. Thank you. Maggie Warutere, you have a question. By the way, this is the starting point. This is not the end of the story. If you have more questions, you have our contact, you have a telephone number, you have our email. You can reach out anytime. We are ready and we are available to support you. Thank you.
Yes, engineer, I also wanted to support you on that in terms of, I'll reach out to everybody tomorrow so that we, if anybody has any challenges or anything, we can have the discussion and take it further. Because I can see there's a lot of, we need to demystify a lot of things about water. And that's what we are going to do right now. Engineer, I think the job is on us to demystify about water, purification, and etc. And yes, but I'm happy with the question. I'm so happy with the questions and the engagement. And we can see that this is something that people are concerned about. The public is concerned about, you know. Yeah. And nobody's addressing it, but it's a big concern. You know, sometimes you might have an issue, but you don't know where to start, where not to start, where to go, where not to go. But let us be the ones to be the forefront in terms of water. Safe, hygienic water.
Yeah, for the whole family.
Yes, for the whole family. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So is there any other, if there's any other question, please, look, I'll reach out to every one of you tomorrow. And if there's anything you feel that was not addressed well, please, let's carry that conversation, because let's carry this conversation going forward. You know, engineer had touched on a very important thing of fluorosis. You see, it's not you know, most of us go to the doctors because of pain, but fluorosis will not cause pain, but there's a sense of shame. Would I call it shame? Yeah, a sense of shame, and people look at you and laughing at you, and you know, your peers are looking at you like, hey, ukona meno brown. I'm blessed to have not have grown up there, but again, I also remember right now the people who had brown teeth. I mean, I used to look at them and wonder like, hey, you know, so. And then there's the skeletal fluorosis. I didn't know there was something like that. You know, something that is attacking. And maybe that is why you find there's a lot of health issues and we don't know about it. We don't know
the causes. We don't know the cause.
We don't know the causes.
Health.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah. So there's the one of the teeth that can be rectified. But what about the skeletal fluorosis? You reach 50 and your bones are weaker than they normally are. They're breaking easily. You're getting fractures easily, you know. So yeah, engineer, thank you so much for bringing this up to bringing this up to our you know, challenging us and taking us to where we need to go. Yeah. So for everyone, tomorrow I'll be reaching out to all of you, and let's take this conversation, because we need to educate the public. We need to educate people. We need to keep having this conversation so that people know. I mean, people know. These things can be a very, 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 they can be not treated, but
Managed.
they can be managed. Yes, exactly. They can be managed. The thing is, with us now as human beings, we only go to see a doctor because we're in pain. But sometimes I mean, fluorosis doesn't mean pain. So let us have that conversation, and let's do it tomorrow. And I'll call everybody, and I'll have my feedback. I'll give it to you, engineer. And I thank you so much. I'm seeing here. Kindly let me know how I can have my water tested. My water comes from Mount Kenya. This is Maggie. Maggie, I'll give you the contacts of the labs. Maggie, I don't know whether you're in Nairobi or where you based, but I'll give you the contacts of the labs where you can be able to have your water tested, and then we can take it up from there. Oh, Maggie is in Nyeri. She says she's in Nyeri, which is okay. You see, it's just to put it in the circle. What is it called? The matatus, and then we can get your water. But I'll give you, and then they'll advise you how to send it to them. Okay, Maggie? Okay, yeah. She said thank you. Yeah. So it is a challenge. So we thank you, engineer. We thank you so much for giving us, information. Information is power. Once we know this is what it is, getting the solution is also very important. And we thank you so much for that. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank
everybody,
you for attending.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
for
thank you
attending.
for attending.
Thank you.
And I'll reach out to everybody tomorrow. And thank you, and be blessed.
Okay.
I can see there's someone who away. Please, I also need to know the labs, Evans. Evans, you put your name. If you registered with your name Evans, I'll give you the name of the labs. But tomorrow I'll call everybody.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Okay, great.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you, engineer.
Okay, bye-bye.
Edith has said thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye and good night.
Good night.